Hey everyone, welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we have a seriously fascinating earnings report to unpack. We're looking at InfoBeans technologies and their absolutely phenomenal FY26. Now, if you've been following the enterprise software and digital transformation space, you know InfoBeans has been a steady, reliable player. But this year, they didn't just grow, they completely shattered expectations, taking a massive leap right past the 500 crore revenue milestone. So we're going to break down exactly how they engineered this breakout year.
Okay, let's dive right into this. 539 crore rupees in top-line revenue. That number establishes the sheer scale of their operations this year. To put this into perspective, InfoBeans had been kind of hovering around the 400 crore mark for the last 2 years. Breaking out of that plateau to hit 539 crore, that represents a major acceleration in their business model. It's a clear signal that their recent strategies are paying off in a huge way.
But, that top-line revenue is really just the beginning. Look at the multiplier effect on these financial highlights. EBITDA is up 64% year over year to 138 crores, meaning they crossed the 100 crore mark for the very first time. Even more impressive is the profit after tax, which practically exploded by 128% to hit 87 crores. When you pair all of that with a 23% revenue CAGR since 2021, you're looking at a company that isn't just growing its sales, but aggressively compounding its profitability.
So, to understand how they pulled this off, here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering a breakout financial year, getting to know InfoBeans, the power of repeat business, going all in on AI, and finally, strategic expansion and dividends.
Let's start with Section 1, a breakout financial year, and how they are leveraging growth for massive profitability.
Now, what's really interesting here, looking beyond the raw data, is this massive discrepancy. A 32% increase in revenue generated a staggering 128% jump in profit after tax. This perfectly illustrates an incredible ripple effect. You see, in a highly optimized services business like InfoBeans, once your fixed costs are covered, every single incremental dollar of revenue disproportionately boosts the bottom line. It's literally a textbook example of operational leverage. But it's also important to humanize this corporate data a bit. Despite this incredible outperformance, hitting 26% EBITDA and 16% PAT margins this year, management is staying remarkably grounded. Co-founder Avnar Sethi explicitly noted that they are perfectly happy with their baseline targets of 24% EBITDA and 14% PAT. They're intentionally managing expectations, signaling that they'd rather prioritize investing back into the business over artificially inflating short-term margins. For anyone watching the tech sector, this shows a highly disciplined, long-term management style.
All right, Section 2, getting to know InfoBeans, over 2 decades of digital transformation. This timeline shows a really steady, deliberate climb to enterprise-grade maturity over 26 years. Founded back in 2000, they didn't just chase some overnight success. They focused heavily on quality, hitting CMMI Level 3 in 2015, going public in 2017, and reaching the absolute pinnacle of CMMI Level 5 in 2024. That deep dedication to process and quality maturity is exactly what paved the way for crossing the 500 crore milestone today. So what is their actual technological bread and butter? Well, they're an AI-first software engineering company, but their heavy hitters are definitely their elite partnerships with platforms like ServiceNow and Salesforce. They build custom applications, optimize complex data pipelines, and even help global enterprises set up their own tech footprints in India through their Global Capability Center, or GCC services. Moving on to Section 3, the power of repeat business and growing alongside enterprise giants. And this brilliantly illustrates the first true engine of their breakout year, an incredibly loyal global client base. Notice their geographic footprint. Operating across the US, Europe, the Middle East, and APAC acts as a strategic shield. When there are macroeconomic headwinds in the US, for example, their geographic diversification ensures the whole ship just keeps sailing smoothly. Breaking that down visually, the US is still their majority market at 53%. But look at Europe, sitting right there at 35%. Management actually specifically called out that the European market, particularly Germany, is growing exceptionally fast right now. They're successfully capturing market share across continents. So the crucial point is right here. A staggering 94% of their business comes from repeat clients. In the IT services industry, that number is the ultimate metric of client trust and delivery excellence. It means their sales team isn't just starting from scratch every single quarter. They're building on a massive foundation of highly satisfied customers. And who exactly are these clients? Well, they aren't small shops.
Out of 50 large enterprise clients, 18 are Fortune 500 giants. Their strategy is incredibly focused. They land a small initial contract, prove their immense value, and then heavily expand their wallet share over time. In fact, their top 10 clients now contribute a massive 57% of their total revenue.
But, this brings us right back to our big question. A loyal client base explains consistent revenue, for sure. But how exactly did a 32% revenue increase result in a 128% jump in profit? What is the actual catalyst driving that extreme efficiency?
Well, that brings us to Section 4, going all in on AI, the technological catalyst for margin expansion. This number is key. 43% of InfoBeans' revenue is already being generated by AI-augmented software development. This isn't some future roadmap. These aren't just marketing buzzwords. Nearly half of their team is actively using AI tools right now to deliver more efficient, higher-quality enterprise software to their clients. And they're doing this through proprietary, custom-built AI accelerators. Notice Insane SDD 2.0 at the top, which uses spec-driven development to write code up to 10 times faster. But we all know AI can be unpredictable, right? That's exactly why they built the RAI agent, Reliability and Assurance Intelligence, to ensure those AI deployments are actually trusted and enterprise-grade. This creates an absolute win-win for both development speed and code quality. Co-founder Mitesh Bora explained the real-world impact of this perfectly. By bringing development time down by 10x, a client who previously only had the budget and time to launch 5 new products in a year can now suddenly launch 25 to 50 new products. They're literally supercharging their clients' speed to market. Let's move to our final section and see how this all builds into their future strategy and shareholder returns. Section 5, Strategic Expansion and Dividends. Looking at their future strategy, part of it involves a massive new IT campus in Indore. But what's fascinating is that management was incredibly clear. This is not a real estate play. It's highly strategic. Owning a state-of-the-art green campus drastically boosts their ESG ratings, which is now a strict requirement if you want to win large RFPs from Fortune 500 companies. Plus, they calculate it will recover their current lease costs in just 9 years. And they can easily afford this expansion because their balance sheet is incredibly healthy. They generated 71 crores in free cash flow, representing a massive 94% of operating profit. They have 339 crores in cash reserves, and this breakout year directly resulted in the board approving a 1 rupee per share dividend, which is actually 4 times higher than the previous year. Which leaves us with this final thought. InfoBeans leadership stated on the call that their bold goal is to take that 43% AI-augmented revenue metric and push it to 100% within the next 12 months. So, if they achieved a 128% profit jump in the early stages of this pivot, what new milestones will InfoBeans shatter as they transition fully into a 100% AI-first engineering powerhouse? It is a truly fascinating space to watch. Thanks for joining this explainer and keep learning.